to another exciting episode of the Global Talkative Series, a global platform where we hang out, inspire, collaborate with each other. And we've been blessed on this show to have amazing and wonderful guests, coming to share their experience and wisdom with us on this show. And today's not an exception because I've got a brother, a friend in the house, who is coming to be talking to us and giving us instruction on how to live a life, especially in regards to investment. And before I go on to read the profile of our guest, I would like to bring in our guest in on Instagram because we're actually here from our global global talkative series studio. And we're coming to you real time Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube live. So let me bring our guest in. So our guest will be coming in any moment from now into the studio. It's already waiting in on YouTube and Facebook. I sent you. Can you see some? Let me just do that again.
Okay, Instagram, right? I haven't sent the request.
Okay. Can you see? I sent you something. I sent a request. Software Oni.
Yeah. Okay, yes.
Okay. Just click and then connect, and that will be automatic.
Okay. Did you just send it?
Yes. Just click on the Instagram. We're trying to bring our guest in on Instagram. Today's show is
Okay.
going to be an exciting and wonderful one. So I don't want to miss this show for any reason in this world.
Sorry, I don't know exactly. Okay. Video
Do you
chat.
see? Okay.
No, did you send it as a chat?
I just sent okay. I from the search I am sending where okay.
I'll just pick it up on there.
Okay. Can you
Yeah.
see anything?
All right.
Good.
Yes. So I can see it now. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So our guest is coming in right now on Instagram.
Fantastic.
Okay. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our guest in the building on all the platform on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Sorry for the little technical, challenge at the beginning. Now, like we do it on this show, I'm going to read the profile of our guest to you and then introduce the topic of our chat today, of our live discussion. Now, our guest today is by the name Tokwe Oni. Now, it's going to be talking about is subject regarding to investment. Now, understanding the principle of investment will give you an edge to be a master when it comes to issues relating to building an enduring portfolio. August is an adventurous month, and the Global Talkative series promise to bring you nothing but the best of informative and educative talk series. Now, join me today with Tokwe Oni, a portfolio and treasury management specialist with over 17 years experience on this show. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome our guest today, Tokwe Oni. How are you? Tokwe, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you very much for making it and out of a busy schedule to be on this show. And for our audience, the topic of our discussion today is understanding the principle of investment, building your own portfolio. And I want to thank all those who are watching us around the world right now on Facebook, on YouTube, and Instagram. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you so much. Now, let's go straight in today's topic. I have some questions that our audience have sent in basically, and then they want to understand what does it mean to have a portfolio? What is the understanding we need to have when it comes to investment? Because I get a lot of questions regarding, okay, how do I invest my money? How do I trade? What do I need to do? Should I do fixed deposit or whatever? All of these questions we're going to be answered today. Now, let's start by let's talk about your journey to financial investment. How would you describe your journey and why investment?
Okay. If I may start with a brief introduction of myself. Like you rightly said before, my name is Temitope Oni. A lot of my friends call me Topsy. Much easier to say that. Then my, I'll say my journey in finance or my love for finance started right out of high school. Um, I initially wanted to study some like engineering or architecture. Then something happened immediately I left high school. I got someone like a mentor that just said, between high school and college, you might uh, back in Nigeria, you might have a gap year, what people call gap year in developed world.
Okay.
So I was home for like a year. So in between that, leaving high school and going to college, I met someone that told me about, okay, instead of sitting down at home, you can do something with your time. So it was like, okay, there's this professional exam called ICANN. Can you just try it out instead of you know just wasting your time around at home? So I started this program and boom, my view of about life just changed. I basically moved from totally from finance to from engineering and science basically to finance. So I then I was like, okay, I'll pursue a career in accounting. Then, as God will have it, um from accounting, I changed to economics because economics is a lot, you know, wider and open uh, than accounting. Accounting is basically checking the books and all that. But going to college to study account or to study economics also opened a very wide gate to be an accountant as well. So I went to OAU to study economics, and while in OAU, focus was my specialization in economics was into monetary economics. That was what my uh, thesis and specialization was about. So from there, um, the love for financial market for investment just started growing. But at the point in college, I think it was in year three or so, we had a field trip to Nigerian Stock Exchange, to the floor. So I saw a lot of traders. I saw the way they were doing. I saw that this won't be a bad career to pursue. So that was what just took me to another level. So fortunately for me, when I left school, I got a job in banking. I was one thing about me, I was fortunate while growing up to have a lot of friends that were much older than me, so they could mentor me, tell me what to do and guide me. So during the process, while I was doing ICANN before I went to college, I had a lecturer then. So um, I now met him. He now told me, okay, in banking, there are strategic units where you can develop at a very fast pace. So if you go into treasury, if you go into risk management, then sales. For sales, you have to be super good. You have to bring in transactions and a lot. So if you're able to get very good trades or transactions, your rate of growth will be very fast. But for someone that is smart, that you are not really a salesperson, you have to go into treasury or go into risk management. So fortunately for me, I was there was a I think there was a bit of a there was a space. They had an issue in the dealing room at that time, so they needed maybe a couple to just fill in the space that they had. So I was in admin. They used to call it corporate services then.
Okay.
So my boss at the time just called me, said, you know what, there's a space in the dealing room I want you to go now. Just leave what you're doing, and off I went. So that was how my real um, experience in trading actually started. So over the last 15 to 17 years, I've done portfolio management, asset management, FX trading, fixed income. So I've basically gone through most of the asset classes, basically.
Mm,
So from the only one I didn't spend much time on is equities.
mm,
So, but equities is you don't have to be a trader before you can invest in equities.
mm.
But for bonds, I'm very sure people will have heard about bonds, they read about treasury bills, they read about fixed deposits, savings, and stuff like commercial papers. So I was in I was involved in that over the last couple of years. So it's a very rewarding journey, and
Wow.
I'll say in we used to pride ourselves as when you're in banking, we used to the other units in the bank, they used to look at the traders, the dealing with the treasury, that uh, these guys are they, there's a way they look at you that they kind of
Like we are the power brokers, are the one behind the
exactly,
lifeline of the bank.
exactly. So
Mm,
um, I'll say it's a very good experience for anyone to have, basically, because you can transition into much bigger things. If you want to continue with your career, you can always go ahead and
that is
but if you want to go to establish a private business or run an asset management firm or basically establish an maybe hedge fund or something, it's much easier for you to pursue that. Right? So
that is amazing.
um, that's a brief introduction of myself.
Thank you so much. Very, while you were talking, some keywords. I was speaking some keywords. Mentors, asset classes. That means for you to be a master in a thing. You know, while you're talking about your experience, how far you've been gone into different asset classes. Fixed deposit, FX trading, all of that. At each stage of your journey, you had someone like a mentor that guides you.
Yeah,
That tells us that it is very important for us to have someone like a role model who can shape in our future, can guide us in the way to go, so that we will know, okay, I'm going in the right direction. And that is one of the things we're doing here today, to give a form of instruction and direction for our community, especially when it comes to investment. And if you're just joining us, this is still the Global Talkative Series with me, Larry Ajayo, host, and our guest today is Tope Oni. It's an investment and treasury professional with over 17 years experience. And our topic of discussion today is understanding the principle of investment, building your own portfolio. So the next question I have for you is this: what has been your prevailing philosophy and mindset when it comes to financial literacy and framework in Canada, in Nigeria, anywhere in the world? What has been your prevailing philosophy and mindset when it comes to financial literacy and framework?
okay. For that, I'll start with uh, the very first important thing. You must be able to willing to learn. You must be willing to learn.
Mm,
So it takes time actually to learn. You have to learn. You have to know about the basic. You have to start from basic stuff actually. So different asset classes, the what are the steps involved, the regulation involved, and all that. So from there, you have to have a plan.
mm,
So the, the plan you can break it down into different steps, short, medium, long term. It has to be the plan has to be holistic, career, financial, your health, and so many other things. So, um, because if you leave one, let's say you pursue career and your health is failing, it all comes down
It's
to
a big
zero.
challenge. Yeah.
So, if you pursue health and you don't have the finance, it's an issue.
Mm,
So, you have to incorporate all that into your plan. Then the next one is you have to be disciplined.
mm,
You have to be disciplined. You have to follow your plan. You have to uh, tweak the plan when there's need for you to tweak the plan. So when you do all those, then it now comes to being prepared. You have once you start learning, you have to get prepared. When you get after getting prepared, you then need to act, and you need to be decisive when you act. So investment is about opportunity.
mm.
Opportunities come and go, but this the window might be open for maybe just a day. You have to be there. You have to be ready to take the opportunity and you know move on. Then during that process, you also need to trust your gut. All the processes that I've mentioned earlier, they help you to kind of
Sharpen your
develop
skills.
your yes, sharpen your skill because an investment has to do with, especially trading, has to do with your gut. Your gut is there's there's a financial information that just came out that is very material, that is very important to market. When that information comes out, your gut is what comes out to you. Let's say maybe US non-farm payroll comes out or GDP figures comes out. You your gut tells you what it means. Your gut is basically like gut tells you to you know you should buy. So but it tells level. It's like so when you get to that level, you have to have the end. You have to look at you have to look at the end from the beginning. You have to be able to vision and to picture it that this is the kind of life that I want for myself. So from there you walk back to now. So in 20 years time I want to retire. I want to retire in Florida. I want to retire to Banana Island. That's what I want to do when I retire. So you have to be able to see that future. You know, I was listening to one podcast like 2 weeks ago. Jack Nicholson. There was this question they asked him. They said, "What differentiates a top five player from a top 50 player?"
Mm,
And he said the difference between the two is a top five player is able to see the whole, able to picture it in his mind, before even hitting the golf ball. So that ability to vision, to reason about the future is very, very important. So for me, I've these days when I have some old diaries that I had maybe like 10 years ago. I actually started keeping diaries like 10 years ago fully. And I kept all of them. So when I look back, I think recently I went back to see what I wrote down in those in 2008, 2000 I started taking those notes. A lot of those things that I wrote down then, I've been able to accomplish a couple of them.
mm.
So I'm like, wow. So I wrote this down 12 years ago, you know.
Wow, that is
So
amazing.
that that is very important. It's a winning psychology and a winning strategy any day for you to be able to see the future, then start planning
Mm.
back to the present.
Thank you so
So for
much.
me,
Thank you so much. Now, while you were talking about understanding what financial literacy is all about, you said something about you must have a guts. Like that thing must be you must be sure that yes, you want to make this move. Like
yeah,
when you're playing a game of chess, you must know when to move, or else you're gonna lose. Now, and initially you said something about maintaining a well balanced life, healthy lifestyle. That means trading or forex trading investment has a lot to do with your emotional well-being.
Yeah,
Because when you are wealthy, then you can have the right mind frame of mind to know how to move, how to
yeah,
take, buy or sell so that you won't lose. That is very, very important. Thank you so much for that. This is still the Global Talkative series with our guest, Dr. Odni, investment and treasury professional. And our topic of discussion today is understanding the principle of investment, building your own portfolio. Now, in your own words as a financial expert, what is financial freedom? In your own words or in your own definition, what is financial freedom?
hmm.
It's
That's
a
a
loaded question. Yeah.
it is. For me, the way I look at financial freedom, I look at it as one, it is personal.
Mm,
Two, it is relative.
mm,
So, if I can expatiate on that,
yeah.
uh, personal, relative means for someone, he needs, let's say, he needs $1 million, or he needs $200 portfolio, or he needs 500,000 portfolio dollars, and he can plan his future expenditure based on that. So he invests that 500 and start generating cash flows from there. So for that person, his total expenditure is whatever he needs to spend, he can accommodate it within the returns that that amount is going to give him on a regular basis. For someone else, he needs $10 million. Somebody like Dangote might need is already financially uh, free,
Yeah.
but he's still
Fair.
working much more harder,
Mm,
on a daily basis. So
yeah.
for someone like Dangote, maybe he's looking at Bill Gates, he's looking at Warren Buffett, he's looking at Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Those guys are his own benchmark.
Mm,
So for him, having $1 billion is like having $100,000 for me.
mm,
So although when we look at him, we look at him as this guy is rich, he's prosperous, but he's still striving. For another person, all he needs to be financially free is you don't have headaches when it comes
yeah.
to money. You control your time, you control when issues come up with expenses and all that, you don't worry.
Yeah.
So for me, financial freedom is just about um, getting rid of money issues, money worries, you
Yeah.
know, being able to control your time, control your finances, you know, you're in total control, but it takes time to actually get there.
That is amazing. You know, being financially free means you're in charge of your time. You
Yeah.
control your time. You control your life. You don't have
You,
money worries.
yes, you have the freedom to choose your career, to
Mm,
follow your passion.
mm,
You you can take holiday trips at any time you want without looking at budget,
yeah.
budget constraint, or you can retire early.
That is
You know,
amazing. It
you know
doesn't have to
you
do. It doesn't have to
it
do
doesn't
with the
it
amount of
doesn't have to do
cash
with
you
money.
have. Yeah.
No, it doesn't have to do with the amount of cash you have. It's about being in total control of your destiny,
Mm.
of
Not
your
that the money
career, of your
is telling you
time.
what to do. Money is telling you because some folks are like a slave to the money, the cash. They are
Yeah.
afraid. So that is key. That's very powerful.
We used to say, but I think I was talking to someone recently, and we were like, okay, during the active years of our parents, they work for money.
Mm,
They worked and worked. We spent 35 years, and the civil service, excuse me, they, you know, they work so hard. These days, people don't need to work, as in, things are really changed. Money these days is about idea, is about idea. For a trader, for a financial market trader, it looks at money like, if I buy this now, in 1 month, the price is going to go up
Yeah.
and I'm going to make this income.
Mm.
So the money itself is from that idea.
Yeah. Mm.
So the way it's going to look at it is different from somebody that does, you know what, ah, they'll pay me salary on 23rd or 15th or the end of the month. Or, you know, they have a totally different view about life
Mm.
and about money.
Yeah.
For someone, it's about work, work, work. For another person, it's about, idea.
Mm.
So, and that's one of the greatest distinguishing factor uh, for a lot of very rich, people that are prosperous. Especially, you see this a lot in technology. Tesla was basically an idea. When he started, a lot of people were like, "This guy is out of his
You
mind,"
don't work. Yeah.
But he persisted. He knew where he was going.
Mm.
That's why I'm saying that for most of those guys, it's about the guy saw the end from the beginning. You know, a lot of people were like, "This guy is mad, he's out of his mind," but the guy saw it, what every other person didn't see.
Yeah.
Now you saw Tesla stock move from 350, $400 to one to 1700.
Wow. That is huge.
You so the guy moved to like number, is it seven or fifth richest man in the whole world.
That is amazing. That is huge. That is.
So it's a very important thing to consider. Basically.
Mm. Now let's get down to the basics. Let's talk about the some of the fundamentals every interested person should understand. The kind of knowledge you will need to have when it comes to financial investment and getting the right education in owning the portfolio. Now, what are the dynamics everyone needs to know? What are the basic understanding? Like, I want to have a portfolio. What is a portfolio? You know, an average person, will call a traveling case like a portfolio, that you have a
Okay.
portfolio, a lot
Yeah.
gauge.
Yeah.
So when it comes to financial literacy, what does it mean to have a portfolio?
Okay. The portfolio is just like, I'll put it in this simple term. It's basically a collection of all the investments that you have, all
Mm,
the places you put your money. You know, um, it's not like it's not physical.
yeah.
It's, let's say you have a house somewhere that you get rent from, and you list it out. That's part
Mm,
of your portfolio. Let's say
okay.
you have fixed income somewhere. Okay, let's say someone is worth let's say the person is worth 10 million naira or $1 million or $100,000. Okay, let's say half of the total worth of that person is the house that he bought. That's where he lives.
Yeah.
That's part of his portfolio.
Okay.
Let's say he has a retirement savings account somewhere. That's also part of his portfolio. So it's just like a summation of everything in terms of investment that
Mm,
someone has. That's the totality of that person's portfolio.
portfolio. So
Yeah.
when it comes to having a portfolio or investment, what are the dynamics? What are the basic, simple steps of investment that one can practice? Not everybody can trade. Just like,
Yeah.
we go to the market to buy things and sell. Financial marketing or financial trading is another game entirely. But for an average person, a banker, a teacher, an housewife, husband, children, what are the basic form of investment that you can advise or you can tell, or what do you think we can do as a beginner?
Uh, For a beginner, I think we start from the objective. What what are my goals? What do I want to achieve? Uh, where am I going? So let's say today I start with okay, I have kids that I'll be going to invest in, let's say 10, 10 years time. Okay, that's the goal I want to achieve. Or I
Mm.
say I want to retire in so number of years. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the that's what I'm shooting at
Mm.
because that's the first step. If you start shooting blanks, you don't know what you want. But that makes it a bit difficult to start. So for a young person that is just starting out his career, he has basically like 30 something years to plan for retirement. So the person knows how long it's going to take for him to achieve that goal. So the goal, the time frame to achieve that goal, those are very important. Then the next one is the risk the person is willing to take. So for a young person that is starting out, you have so much time to achieve those goals. So you can take big risk.
Mm.
You are still earning your salary. Okay.
Yeah.
You earn your salary. The money, the investment you have, that money you don't need it now. You can decide to leave it for to invest for like 5, 10 years.
Mm.
So the time, the your goal, the time frame, the risk. Then if you have any unique issues, maybe tax and all that involved, you need to consider all that. So that will now drive how you will invest your money. So let's say a young guy that just left school, started work, can decide to buy equities. Equities are very volatile. You can lose money on it. But for a young guy that has so much time, you he can he can afford to take that risk because even if he loses money, he can make that money back because he still has a long, number of years. But for someone that is like close to retirement, someone that is retiring in 5 years,
Mm.
the person cannot take the same level of risk as as a guy that is just starting out his career.
Yeah.
So those are the factors to consider when one is. You can imagine someone that is about to retire now start trading FX online.
Mm.
You know that would be strange
Yeah.
for that kind of person because if you lose your money, it will be difficult for you to make it back. But for
Mm.
a very young person that started out, if he loses money, maybe he will drink like we used to say, you drink Gary for few months, then you'll be back on your feet.
Mm.
But you can imagine someone that is about to retire, invested his gratuity or his pension, and the money is gone. You can imagine those days, people doing MMM, somebody that used retirement money to do MMM.
That's the end.
Yeah. So, those are the factors that one needs to consider. You have to take into consideration those things. Then you need to learn. You need to maybe talk to your financial advisor. Get a financial advisor.
Mm.
Must be willing to actively learn about
Mm.
you
Mm.
know investment. Whether you want to go into real estate, whether you like for somebody that is getting close to retirement, what you need is when you retire, something that will bring in income for you on a regular basis. So maybe something that gets you uh, something in lieu of your salary.
Yeah.
So you
Mm.
can actually buy a fixed income security. You can buy a bond or buy maybe treasury bills.
Mm. Mm. That's
For
amazing.
some, so those are the things to to consider.
Thank you so much. This is still the Global Talkative series with our guest today, Tokwe Oni, investment and treasury professional. And our topic of discussion today is understanding the principle of investment, building your own portfolio. Now, let's break some things down. financial security, it's in different ways to secure your financial future. Now, you mentioned fixed income, treasury bills, forex trading, and some other ones. Can you take a minute or two to explain each of these form of or different these types of investments? Like asset security, fixed income, forex trading. I know you can't really do justice to it in like a 2 minute, but just for our audience to have an idea of different types of, investment that are available there, so that they can go and read on their own.
Okay. Thank you. For investment, we basically have what we call asset classes.
Yeah.
Asset classes are like major groupings of how you can invest your money. So we have the broad asset classes will be fixed income. Fixed income is basically investing your money in a guaranteed return, something that is fixed. Your return is fixed. So from day one, when you are putting in your money, that return is fixed. So let's say I did a 3 months fixed deposit. So my returns for 3 months is guaranteed.
Right.
Okay. Let's say I buy treasury bills. Treasury bills are basically uh, borrowing, giving your money to government. So the
Okay.
government pays you interest. So, but
So
that investment,
sorry to cut you, when you say treasury bill, it's like, are you giving your money to the government as a loan or what?
yes, yeah, you're
Okay.
borrowing, you lend the
The
government your
government.
money.
Okay.
So you for fixing for treasury bills is basically less than a year or less.
All right.
So you found that in the last like couple of years ago, prior to this year, in Nigeria, treasury bills, everybody was doing it because the interest rate was kind of high. So we moved
Mm.
from 18%. Right now it's about 2% now. So,
Wow.
but like 2, 3 years ago, it was very popular. Everybody was buying treasury bills because if you buy a 1 year treasury bills, the government is going to pay you 18%. So, and that investment is upfront. So let's say I have 1 million naira to
Invest.
invest. Okay. So at let's say 15%. 15% of 1 million naira is 150,000.
Mm. Yeah.
So let's say today I'm investing that money. I'm going to give the government 850,000. So I'm taking that 150,000 interest today. I'm not
Mm.
waiting till next year to take it. So
Wow.
one so next year when it matures, the government is going to give me back 1 million.
Mm.
So it's like I'm taking my interest upfront. So that's treasury bills. Treasury bills, you have 1 year, you have 6 months, you have 3 months.
Okay.
Those are the standard treasury bills.
And sorry to
For
cut you again. These treasury bills, must you have a particular what kind of qualifications you need? Do you have to be a banker or a
no,
doctor? Anybody can
no.
just walk into any
Any
bank.
customer, yes, any customer can buy treasury
Okay.
bills.
Good.
So in most countries of the world, they have the US. They have US treasuries. In Canada, we have treasury bills as well. So it's a form of borrowing by the government. The next one for people that have uh, idle money that can afford to invest for 3, 2, 3, 5, 10,
Longer
30
term.
years.
Yeah.
Yes, those investors can buy bonds. So bond is
Okay.
the difference between bond and treasury bills is basically two things. One, the tenor,
All
then
right.
the interest. So for bond, you get your interest payment every 6 months. So today, if I buy a 30-year bond, I'll get my interest every 6 months. But for
Mm.
treasury bills, I'll get my interest today when I'm investing.
Mm.
So a lot of people that they just have idle cash for a few months, it makes more sense for them to buy treasury bills.
mm.
But if I have, let's say, I'm planning for my kids' education, university education, or I'm planning for retirement, bonds are much more appropriate for that kind of.
So what you're saying in essence is that treasury bills and bond, they are like kind of the same thing, but the major difference between the two is the term. One
Yes,
is longer, your money is with the government for a longer time, while
yes,
treasury bill is just like 1 year, 6 months, or 2 years thereabout.
yes.
Okay, that is
That's
good. So which
the
other form of investments are there out there?
okay. So the other form of investment are you have mutual funds, you have equities. I think the next one I should go to is buying stocks, which we are
Okay,
all used, you know.
okay,
But the stock market in Nigeria has been, kind of sideways for a long time since we had the last market crash. But you can also invest in the developed markets, especially the US. The US stock exchange has been the best. In fact, for the last since we had the crash in March, the market has gone to is making higher highs on a daily basis. You can. There was one analysis I read. I think some days ago. They said when Amazon when they initially sold their shares, that if you had invested 10,000 then, now it would be worth $20 million.
wow, wow,
So
wow.
you can imagine someone that invested then and left those shares without touching them. One a 10,000 investment is now worth 20 million.
That is
But
huge.
so for equities, for people like I said, someone that can take risk, you know, a young person you want to take risk, equities is appropriate for you. But you have to be careful. You have to consult the specialist that will advise you on what to buy.
Mm,
Then the next one I'll talk about is mutual funds. Mutual fund is like you are giving somebody to invest your money for you. You know, you are giving a professional who have like I call them like distributors, wholesalers.
yeah.
So instead of doing it yourself, they bring different investors together and they help them to invest their funds. So
Mm,
that's what a mutual fund is.
mm,
Um, the next one I'll talk about is also real estate,
yeah.
buying land,
That is the
buying
most common
houses.
form of
Yeah,
investment a lot of people know.
yes. So, but you also need to do your computation very well. In developed worlds where you get mortgage, you have
Mm,
to do your analysis. The mortgage payment every month. If you buy a house, you rent it out. Can the rent cover your property tax and your mortgage payment?
yeah.
So you see a lot of Chinese people. They bring their kids to North America. They come here, they buy a house, for the kid, and they go back to China. Once by the time the kid is graduating, uh, most likely the value of the house will have gone up. If
Yeah.
he's going back to China after studies, he's going to sell the house and make some profit.
Mm,
At least I've seen a lot of them, you know, and it's very common among the Chinese.
mm.
And they make, especially in Canada, especially in Ontario, they buy the house 2, 3, 4 years, the value
Gone
has
up.
gone up.
Mm,
They sell it when they are going back to China, or some of them don't even sell; they just rent it out, and the rent keep paying whatever mortgage
yes, yeah.
left.
Mm,
So you can imagine if you've done that for 20 years. After 20 years, the house belongs to you.
yeah.
Other people paid for that house. The only thing you did was you took the risk, but other
Mm,
people paid you out. So
mm,
that's another form of investment. People use those houses for Airbnb.
yeah.
So, but for real estate, the location
Mm,
is very key. So, real estate. I think it's the most common form of investment for people,
Yeah,
basically.
that is what everybody used to, buying it because, it's we are kind of used to fixed assets that I'm
Yeah,
buying something, I can see
that
it.
can see.
So I
Exactly.
know where my money is because to a lot of folks, they've asked me this question that someone asked me I should come and do stock trading and they're asking me, okay, how do you go about that? And I said, okay, the guest I had on the show was saying, how do you want to go into something you have no idea of?
Yeah, yeah,
And that is why it's easier for people with money or cash here and there to buy a land or to buy property because they can see it. But
yeah,
that notwithstanding, there are other forms of avenues which you've explained that we can actually make money. And with all of this form of investment, there are challenges and there are
yeah.
risks. Can you just take
Yes.
us through all of that before we're not talking to talk about forex trading in a little bit? What are the challenges
Okay.
involved in all of this form of financial planning and investment?
I think the last one I wanted to talk about is alternative investments, like
Okay.
buying gold, commodities, basically buying gold, buying silver. Uh, those ones are also very they're becoming, more widespread these days. You've seen gold prices move from in January. I think in March was like $1,500 on
Mm,
average. Now it's maybe it has crossed $2,000 already today. I
wow.
don't know. I'll need to check that. So it's been close to $2,000. So you see over 3 months, you're seeing that's like 25%. That's like 33% jump in the price
Mm,
of gold.
mm,
Silver also, because gold you can also see it's a precious metal.
yeah.
So that's becoming also another very popular investment opportunity for a lot of people these days. So
You call it alternative investment.
yes, yes,
So that means when you're saying gold, as in real gold, like I see in
yes,
movies, gold bar, you mean
yeah.
you can actually buy that and keep instead of
Okay.
having cash deposited in your bank in your account in the bank, gold and
So
silver.
there are two ways. You can actually buy physical gold, or you buy like a book entry. Book entry is like you're buying shares.
Okay.
So you when you make most investments, you don't see physically.
Yeah.
You know, so you can. But what most people do is a lot of people buy gold bars. You buy an ounce of gold is about 2,000 now, and
Mm,
it's also a very good edge against inflation.
mm,
So that's why a lot of people like it, because when there are issues, when there are market turmoil, financial market turmoil, everybody run for safety. And
yeah.
one of the safe assets that they go to is gold. So whenever there's trouble in the financial world, the first thing people buy is gold. So
Mm,
that's why people like it.
mm,
That's why a lot of people like it. So
mm.
to go back to the risk,
Challenges,
um,
yeah, associated with this form of investments.
I've seen a lot of people ask me, I want to do FX trading. I'm like, guy, must be very careful. Although you lose your money. Oh. So I think the first thing to do is to learn. One has to take time out to learn. Learn from there are several outlets on the internet you can learn. There are courses online. There are people on YouTube to follow. You know, so you need to do that research. Learn first that if you want to trade contract for difference or FX or whatever, there are demo accounts. You need to do demo account. Demo is like fake account, but
Yeah.
your physical money is not involved. Because
Mm,
by the time you're not a trader, you start trading, and you first do a trade and you lose money. I'm like, you'll be shaking. You know, first put let's say you put $2,000 and the money is gone. You know, so a lot of people are always in a rush. The first thing you need to do is you need to learn different ways to learn. There are courses online. By the time you Google, you see there are brokers that offer demo account. You know, do a test run first.
Yeah.
Then also the risk management side. When you do a trade, you know how much do I expect to make? How much can
Yeah.
I lose on this trade? So you already set the limit. So when you are going to it, I can lose I can lose 15%, 20% of my investment.
Mm,
I can make 15% on this investment. So when it's going bad, your mind is already well prepared before that.
mm,
If I lose this money, I lose it.
mm,
So
mm,
risk management is very, very key.
mm,
That's then also greed,
mm.
greed setting, discipline. You have to be disciplined. I think there's one other thing that I think is very important. Mentorship, like we said.
Yeah.
You need somebody to guide you through
Mm,
because that's like a shortcut for you. You need somebody to hold you through the process. This is how it is done. Do this, do that. Because learning it on your own is tough
yeah.
because you're going to make a lot of mistakes. But if you have somebody that is holding you, or you have a group that I've seen all sorts of groups online that can help you. That so many private, this COVID thing. A lot of people, so almost everybody's at home. So
Yeah.
you say a truck driver turn professional trader. You see, everybody's doing it these days. But taking time out to learn the ropes is very important. That's what I would advise people before you go into putting your money into anything. You
Wow.
need to find out about so learning about it and learning deeply, learning from people that have done it. That's the first thing I'll say people should do.
Yeah. Thank you so much for those who are joining us online. Pastor Diadekube, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you for joining us. Silva Diajayi, thank you for joining. Okebo Boye from the States. Fumi Layo Gusheta from United Kingdom. Audu Joseph Oche, thank you for joining. Now, you were saying something about learning. Now, on the average, how long does it take for one to become a professional trader? You know, given that you have to understand the basics. I don't do forex trading. How long do you think it's ideal for one to learn before you can start trading real? And we've got about like 7 minutes more on this show, and we have like two questions more. How long does it take to be a professional trader?
I think I'll say nothing is cast on stone. We are different. People are different. The way the speed at which you assimilate things is quite
Yeah.
different. For someone, a week. For
Mm,
another person, a month. For someone else, is 3 months. So is you know getting to a level where you feel comfortable with going ahead is very important. Like I said, everything is relative. When you
mm,
get to know those fundamentals, like someone that is around, that has been around finance, will find it a lot easier. Unlike someone that doesn't have a clue about, financial market.
mm,
So for someone that doesn't know how to analyze financial statement, financial report, the person will just be seeing price go up, come down. You won't know the reason why it's going up, it's coming down.
mm,
But
mm,
someone that has been around it, okay, they said the economy is doing better, GDP went up, so people are pricing that things will get better,
mm,
or they are forecasting that there is going to be a recession, and everybody is running away from the market. They are selling all their shares. For an average person, will be wondering what's going on. Why are they selling? Why is my share price, my portfolio is going down? So learning about the basic macroeconomics, how the economic system functions. Once you're able to know that, then you can translate that. What are my options? What do I want to trade? Do I want to buy commodities? Do I want to trade FX? Do I want to invest in treasury bills? Do I want to be an investor, or do I want to be a trader?
mm.
So those are the things that one needs to decide on before. And I'm sure once those things are personal and relative.
Yeah.
At a point where you are comfortable with it, you'll be comfortable to go in.
Mm,
But people should not be in a rush. They should, like they're saying in Lagos now, calm down.
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
it's
So
applicable to every sphere of human
yes,
life. We have to like take times, take
any
things.
whether it's
Yeah.
real estate that you're doing, you need to understand it very well before you put your money. Because when you put your money, emotions, it's a different ball game.
Mm, mm.
When you're losing, especially when you're losing money, it's a different ball game. So
That is amazing. That is amazing. We have about just about 3 minutes more to end this broadcast. You know, doing all of this investment, treasury bond, forex trading, stock, bonds, all of that. Is there any form of government regulations that can help investors to secure their money? For example, you can trade with different individuals, different organizations around the world. Is there
yeah,
any, form of preventive measures that the government has put in place to prevent investors from losing their money?
yeah. For a lot of brokers in developed world, especially in North America, they are already regulated. Even in Nigeria, you need to you need to have account with a registered broker or registered asset or portfolio manager. Don't just go and do a roadside person that will just take one's money and just run away. So in Canada, you have the banks, they have like subsidiaries that
Yeah.
you can trade. There are so many other ones that are independent, like West Trade and the likes. Then you have financial advisors. You have all those Edward Jones and the likes. So those guys are regulated. They're mostly regulated at the provincial level. So in Nigeria, we call it state level. So each state has like a securities commission where they license them. Even the financial advisors are licensed. So they are regulated. So if you are if you are having your investment portfolio with one of those guys, they there are rules that those guys have to follow. They call it fiduciary. They need to manage your money well. They need to explain all those things for you. So before you do anything with anyone, you must be sure that they are regulated, they are licensed. You know, so that you be sure that they are giving you the best advice.
Yeah.
In Nigeria as well, they are licensed by SEC.
Mm,
So you have several of them. Stockbroking firm, asset management. But I prefer the asset management guys because you can basically do everything that you need to do. Stockbrokers are just stocks.
mm.
Asset management guys will do across all the assets for you. So the last part I didn't mention was buying euro bonds for a lot of people in North America, in Europe, diaspora Nigerians basically. You don't want to convert your money to naira because you feel that naira is depreciating. Instead of doing that, you can buy Eurobond. Eurobond is basically mostly in dollars. So Nigerian government, instead of buying naira bond, you can buy Eurobond. Eurobond is basically Nigerian government debt in dollars.
Okay.
So and on average, you have maturities from let's say 3, 5 years up to 30 years.
Mm.
So
That
the
is
longest that Nigeria has is 2049, and it's basically about 9%. So
mm,
in North America, if you are getting a mortgage now, you get a 5 year mortgage for like 1 point less than 2%. Whereas if you invest that same money in Eurobond, you can get like nine. So you are making like 7% spread
mm.
basically. So instead of buying Nigerian treasury bills, where I'll convert my money to naira, when I'm converting back, I don't know what what the exchange rate will be at that point. But you can buy Eurobond.
That is amazing. The last question I have before we go to just answer in about a minute. It's for our audience on Instagram. We just time out because it's 1 hour mark. So the last question we have now is what critical advice will you give to an individual who want to take steps into investment, who want to do some form of investment, whether stocks, whether treasury, whether bond, whether real estate, as a professional in this field for almost 20 years? What critical advice will you have for someone who is stepping out to do investment?
I'll say people should talk to someone that can help. Yeah, basically call them financial advisors. So
Yeah.
they advise you on how to manage your portfolio basically. So they you tell them your unique circumstance, anything special about something, so that they'll give you the best advice on the way to go. If you are young, they'll tell you you can take a bit of risk. If you are much older, they'll tell you, okay, you need to calm down and go slowly. For someone that is old, getting to retirement, you basically need something that will bring in cash flow for you to spend. Someone that is still very active, you still have salaries that you're getting, but you need capital appreciation. You need to be able to multiply your money and take risks. So
That's
for
amazing.
someone like that, you need education. The internet is Google is everybody's friend anyway.
Yeah. See that.
Google, make sure you learn that. You can check Wall Street Journal, different World Financial Times of London. To just then there's business day in Nigeria, so that you can learn. Then talk to people that you know are in that line that can help and provide. So many people can provide. So many people ask me. There's one of my friends that asked me, "Doctor, I wanted to invest. What should I do?" So to just talk to people that are knowledgeable in that area, and they'll be able to provide the required advice. But
Thank you so
people
much.
should do their research, try to read more, and educate ourselves in financial market, basically.
Yeah. For us in this show, we always have our viewers wanting to connect with our speakers. Is there a kind of email address that you want to share with our audiences in terms of people who need advice or kind of guidance or form they want to follow up with you? What kind of do you have an email that we want to share with our audience?
Okay, talkway.on@outlook.com.
Okay, this Okay, so we have it on the screen for all our viewers watching us from around the world. We've come to the end of today's broadcast. In case you need to get in touch with our guests, you can reach him on topper.oni@outlook.com. Questions, answers, and please be patient because he's a busy man. So, you might need to exercise some patience and, if it's something that is very important, it'll be there to attend to your need. Thank you so much for coming on the Global Talkative Series today, for hanging out with me and the guests from around the world. We have viewers from all across the world, and one or two things we've learned some things today. At least we learned about the bonds, the treasury bills, the equity, the all sorts of asset classes. I want to encourage you to go back and watch this video again. And thank you so much for coming on this show. Appreciate you so much. Thank you. And to our audience around the world, I want to say thank you. Expect to see beautiful more shows in this month of August. It's an auspicious month, a beautiful month. Until I come again your way next time, see your host, Larry Ajayi, on the Global Talkative Series. Bye for now. Thank you, our guest. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Bye for now.
Bye.